Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm here with Gail Perlow with West Coast Mortgage Group, and I want to pick her brain today a little bit about what it means to file for a forbearance on your mortgage loan. So before we get started though, Gail, can you give us a little bit of information, background on yourself, please?
Oh, yes, of course. West Coast Mortgage Group is a company that's been around for over 20 years, and we help buyers refinance transactions, commercial transactions, everything west of the Rockies. And me personally, I've been in the business for over 2 decades, and we're seeing something a little bit different than the last boom and bust. Things have been happening so quickly, so I think it's really important to share a little bit of information about forbearance because it's very confusing to people out there, and I would like clients, homeowners to really understand they have options right now.
All righty, great. Well, what can you just explain exactly like what a forbearance means, what it is for people?
Forbearance is not a new term. It's been used a lot in lending, especially when it comes to student loans, and it was used quite a bit in the last bust around 2008 through 2010. And what it means is a pause. It's like a stay. So if you're having trouble, any financial hardship, you are able to contact your lender and discuss options to keep your home and give you an opportunity to kind of regroup cash flow wise, get back on your feet with work. So it's really just a pause. It's not a foreclosure. There's a lot of misconceptions around that, but it's important to know in forbearance that you still have an obligation to the lender. Your interest on your loan is always accruing. In addition to that, you're still obligated for property taxes and any hazard insurance.
Okay, that's good to know because people with impounded accounts, they may be thinking that their insurance and their taxes are getting paid, and they may if there's money in the escrow account, right? Or no?
Yes, of course. That's a big concern. If you have an impound account that was already set up, you've already got money in for your property taxes and your insurance when that comes due. However, when you stop making your payment, you're not adding to that impound account. So the lender is front you the property taxes and the insurance. They're going to pay directly to the county assessor's office and directly to your homeowner's insurance company. So when the time comes and you have to pay back the forbearance, you're going to be obligated to reimburse for the property taxes as well as the insurance. Now, if you don't have an impound account, which is about 50% of the people out there that own homes choose not to, I still advise that you continue to make your hazard insurance payment. That's really important as we're coming into fire season in the state of California, and make sure you pay your property taxes. If you have trouble, talk to your lender.
You kind of crackled a little bit right there. Can you repeat the very last thing that you just said?
Oh, of course, and I apologize. It could be my computer here. If you are having trouble making the property taxes and you do not have an impound account, I still advise contacting your lender to find out what options you have. They may be able to front the amount that you are owed.
Okay.
Or the amount that's owed to the actual county assessors and work with you.
Okay, so you still crackled up a little bit at the end, but basically they should just check with the lender about their taxes and work something out if they're not getting, if they didn't get paid.
Yes, see what the options are. Every lender is going to be different.
Okay, all right, perfect. So with the forbearances, I mean, is it a good idea? What are the pros and cons? And should people maybe just leave it for a last resort, or what is your advice on that?
I like forbearance. I think there are some cons and there are some pros. The good thing about forbearance that's really important is that the government wants to keep as many homeowners in their homes. They don't want to see the banks taking back properties in foreclosure because the foreclosure process is extremely expensive. And the best thing for neighborhoods and families is to stay in their homes. So that gives them a little bit of a pause. Now, the cons with forbearance, of course, is that you've accrued all that interest. You still have the obligation for the property taxes. You still have the obligation for your fire insurance. And you cannot refinance under the new rules from anywhere from 12 to 18 months from the time you've completed your forbearance. You have to be through the forbearance and have cleaned up the arrearages before you can even consider trying to refinance and lower your rate or get some better cash flow. So that is the biggest con that people are dealing with right now.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. So how, like, for people filing for forbearance and, you know, they get their application accepted, how does that affect their mortgage and their credit rating?
Well, currently we have something in place that the lenders cannot put any derogatory marks on the credit regarding any late pays while they're in forbearance. Now, that doesn't mean that we, as a lender, can't go back and get a 12-month or 18-month history to see if they've been current. That becomes a problem, even though their FICO score is not dropping because of it, and they don't show lates for every month they've been in forbearance. But when they do finally decide they want to refinance, we have to find out through the lender on either their payoff statement or a 12 months mortgage history what their payment history has been. So that's a little bit of a problem that will not, again, affect the credit negatively. That is something now that's in place that we did not have before.
Okay, well, that's good, at least that it wouldn't affect their credit. However, like you said, if they wanted to refinance, then they'd have to wait for a certain amount of time, right? For whatever it is, 12 months or 18 months after they started paying back the forbearance.
And the forbearance has to be paid up in full.
Right. And then they can.
Then they can try. Now, please note that the guidelines keep changing. This is where the guidelines are today.
Right.
We're in a very dynamic lending industry right now with all the changes, and those guidelines keep changing. So it might be important for someone just to contact me and find out what the rules are currently or what they're as they change.
Okay, that sounds fair. So once a person's hardship is already, you know, is resolved and they're back to work, or their situation that was causing them a hardship has changed, what are some of the options for them to pay back that money that's owed?
That's a great question, and everyone's situation is going to be a little bit different with their hardship. The lenders cannot enforce a one-time payback. So that's in place as a safety net. So it's important for consumers to know that when they do file a forbearance, it's not like they're going to end up at the end of it with this thousands of dollars that they owe the lender. The lender can do one of many things. They can increase the payment a little bit each month for a period of time until they're caught up, or they may tack it on to the back end of the loan. And if they tack it onto the back end loan, they may keep the loan exactly where it's at, or they may increase the amortization schedule to make the payments go down to back to where they were, so it's comfortable for the homeowner. Every lender and servicer is going to have a different guideline put in place. So it's really important that the homeowner contact their servicer and find out what's going to happen at the end of this.
That's a great advice, because even if they they have no choice but to file for the forbearance, at least if they know right up front what they're going to be faced with at the end, they could prepare a little bit better throughout that forbearance period. So I think that's great advice for them to contact their servicer right away so that they know. All right, that's great. This is great information about the forbearance situation going on right now. Is there any little bit of last minute advice that you'd want to give to maybe a first-time home buyer or somebody looking to refinance?
Absolutely. You know, if you're still working and your job is steady and you're feeling very comfortable with the position you're in, this is a great opportunity to try and find a house that's a little less expensive than what the prices have been for the last 12 months and capitalize on a very low interest rate. We still have time home buyer grants available, so if someone hasn't purchased in the last 3 years.
I'm sorry. You crackled again. Can you just say that, repeat what you just said?
Sure. If someone hasn't owned a home in the last 3 years, they can qualify for first-time home buyer grant in the state of California.
Okay, great. So that's another thing I want to do another segment on with you is that first-time home buyer grant, because I think that's awesome to help those first-time home buyers out with some extra cash. So we'll do that next time.
Great. I look forward to that.
Yeah. So anyway, Gail, well, thank you for taking your time to share your knowledge with everybody. And if you could you please give everybody your contact information, your phone number, and maybe an email or website, whichever you want.
Sure. You can reach me directly on my direct line at West Coast Mortgage Group at 949-285-5747.
Please repeat your phone number.
949-285-5747. That is my direct line. Or you can email me at Gail Perlow at WCMTG.com. So that's GAILPERLOW at WCMTG.com.
Great. Wow, this technology really gave us a little problem today, but
yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah,
that's okay. The information was fantastic, and I'm sure that it's going to help some people out there listening, so that's great. So thanks everybody for joining us. I'm Irene Villalobos. I am a real estate broker associate, and I've been in the business for over 20 years with combined mortgage experience and real estate. So I'm here to help you with any questions you have. You need value on your properties or just questions about the market, please feel free to give me a call, and you can reach me at 949-307-1814. And you can also check out my website. It's buyandsellochomes.com. So it's BUYN as in Nancy, SELL OC Homes, HOMES.com. So thanks again for joining us. And thanks again, Gail. Great information.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Irene, for your time as well.
Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.